Hi everyone, welcome to the next video from this sort of autumnal page from Hanna Karlzon's Seasons book. Now these here, I don't really know what these are, but having had a think, I've decided that I'm going to do the little, these bits as if they're ears of corn. They might be supposed to be leaves. This is a sort of dark, a brownish, slightly orangey brown, and these like leaves. I don't know. That's what I'm going to do. So let's start with these bits, the sort of ears of corn type bits. And what I'm going to do is pick a couple of a brown and a yellowy colour, and see if we can make it look rather fun. This is a burnt ochre. It's quite an orangey brown, but it's the lightest brown I have apart from the Camel, which is quite dark. So these are the Arteza Expert Pencils, and I'm just really want a really small bit in the centre of each of these. My plan is to sort of fade the colour towards the end of each bit. I could be leaves, couldn't they? But anyway, they're not going to be on mine. You could do them as leaves. You could do this similarly, but use a green, you know, if you wanted to make them look leafy. But now this is quite a dark colour for what I'm trying to achieve, which is why I'm trying to keep it quite light. We'll be going over it with other pencils anyway. But what I will do is use a bit of it on the stem here. I can use a little bit more because this looks like it's a sort of woody stem to me. It could be green, but if you're using green, you could use your green there. Next we're going to go for, the camel brown. It's difficult to see. I've opened my blind in the hope that the sun doesn't come back out and blind us. We'll see how it works. So I'm now going over each individual one because I want to take that darker brown and sort of blend it in so that it isn't really visible. So it just gives us the feeling of a darker area without actually us being able to pick out that there's a bit of brown there. I don't know if I'm making sense. Hopefully. And we're just going through, doing the same on each. I'm going to take that along there. Just heard the train go by. So the train that goes past our house either goes to London or goes to Swindon, depending on what time of day it is. I'm trying to fade this a little bit so that I can blend it into my next colour a little bit more easily. My next colour is the yellow ochre that I showed you before. We might go even lighter if there's space. Some of these areas are quite small. So I'm going to just try and extend this a little bit. I think it'd be nice if it looks quite goldeny but also vibrant. It's quite a nice autumnal mix of colours, I think. Yeah, I haven't got a train for ages. I used to sometimes get one to Gloucester. To my children, when they were younger, in the holidays we used to book them up to do a Lego group, which they used to love doing. And I used to then have a wander around the city. I'm just choosing my next colour. I think we'll go for the turmeric yellow and make that our last one. Now, in the city there are docks I used to go and look at, and a discount shopping centre. I walked past the cathedral, and there's a big bookshop and a lot of coffee shops. I used to go into a coffee shop. So it was quite fun, but they're too old now. They were too old when they did it. They didn't outgrow Lego for a long time, and they used to want to go even though they were a bit old. And the good person who ran the class used to say, well, they are a bit old, but as long as they know the other children that will be there might be younger than them, if they don't mind, I don't mind, she would say. So they would go, and as I say, we'd get the train, which was good fun. Sometimes we get it to go and visit my parents too. They're quite close by. We often get the bus instead. There's a bus route on my husband's way to work, so he will sometimes drop us. But, I used to visit them a lot more when before the boys were born. Right, these, as I said, I'm going to do them in a sort of orangey brown, but we're going to go darker than we did for the pumpkins. So we're going to actually start with, I think, yeah, let's start with the cinnamon and see where it takes us. Now we've got a couple of things to think about with these. Firstly, they're rounded, so to show off how spherical they are, we might want to make them darker, top and bottom, with a bit of light, say here, or here, or here. But we also need to think about any shadow. I think if we do it that way, it'll work. So I'm just putting down a layer. I'm just going for it. So I'm going to fade it up, so it's going to be, oops, out of the line. It's going to be nice and dark down here, and then lighter as we go up a bit. Like that. And this side, because we're quite high up, you know, I don't think this would be that dark. The light bit might be right up here. Sort of take that up a bit. Like that. It's not going to really shine. You don't need to leave white, but it would be lighter there. And it's quite good to make it a little bit dark just around that edge there too. Like that. Okay. We'll do a similar thing with this one. It's at a different angle. So I'm thinking the darkest bit would be down here, this sort of lowest part. And don't worry about this, it's a little bit messy. I'm going to do another colour on top in a bit, but we'll just start with our cinnamon and getting that down on all of them first. Now these remind me, there's some sort of orangey seed pods that look a bit like this, but they don't have this sort of corny stuff by them, but I don't know. Just a bit of fun. So what I want it to be is darker bottom sides, a bit lighter in the middle, like that. There we go. Same here, darker under here. And a bit up here. But not too much, I think that's going to be our lightest bit. So we'll start to fade it up here, like that. There we go. Now I want to add something to make it look slightly more orangey, but not like orange. I'm thinking maybe the orange might work. Why not? I was thinking maybe I should avoid orange because we've got the pumpkin, but why not? Let's just use it. I'm just going to put it over the top. And again, I'm going to use the same emphasis. Now I've decided where the light and dark areas are, I'm going to do that still. So the areas here, I'm going to put more orange on than the central part where I go quite lightly. There we go. Yeah, I like that. And it doesn't look really close to that, similar, but and the same here. I am just at the moment making a compilation video for my members. Now, I've got quite a few members and I really appreciate your membership, and I keep trying to think of new things to give you, to reward you as members. Now what members usually get is if there's a page like this where there's lots of little pictures, I will put them together into one video, and then members can get, I'm just fiddling here, members can get that one video on the first day, if I can, if I've timed it right, that the series goes out. They get the one video first, so they get to see it first. They get that sort of thank you, as it were, by getting that video first, and then they can obviously watch it all early, whereas non-members will still get all the videos, but they'll probably get one a day for a week or two, whatever. This is the sage green. I'm going to use this for the leaves, or these bits. I think these might be brown, but I'm going to do them green because I think it'll look more interesting. I'm going to try and fade them to the tip. So yeah, I try and put other things together for members, but members don't get anything that non-members, they get early access to videos, so they get to see them early. They get compilation videos, so series that I've made in the past put together as a compilation so that they can watch it a little bit more easily all in one go, rather than having to try and find each part and things like that. It's just a little way of me saying thank you, but I don't want to deprive anyone who can't afford to be a member or who doesn't think that they want to pay. You know, we're going through tough times at the minute. I had considered making my memberships cheaper so that people who wanted to who couldn't afford to pay, but unfortunately now I've set up my memberships, I can't change the price without cancelling and starting all over again, which is a bit annoying, but I'm committed now to that price. So it means that, but no one misses out, and if people want to support me, then there are lots of ways you can do it without having to pay out any money anyway. So you'll get all the videos anyway, and if you like, if you comment, if you subscribe, all those things really help the channel to grow. And by helping the channel to grow, I get a little bit more money from advertising. I get more if people watch the adverts, of course. You know, hopefully you get adverts that are interesting enough for you to want to watch them. I also get a bit of money from the affiliate links in the description if you buy any of the materials that I've been using, and that sort of thing. So that all helps me be able to buy more things to share with you, or just so that I don't have to look for other work. You know, I can just do this. I've never been paid an awful lot since I've been self-employed, but it's nice to have a bit of pocket money so that I can contribute to the household. Do you know what I mean? If the children need something or want something, I can just treat them without having to worry about checking with the husband if we can put it through the home finances and all that sort of thing. It just feels nice to contribute a little bit. So that's why I like to have the affiliate links and the advert revenue and things like that. And it also allows me to buy things like a camera. This camera was very expensive, so I wouldn't have been able to justify buying it without having the revenue coming in. I want to put a bit of shading in this. I'm just trying to decide on the colour. I think I am going to use, is that the darkest brown? No. I'm going to use the Espresso brown to put a bit of shading in. So I really appreciate everybody that helps out the channel, whatever you do, because everything, I'm just going to erase where I've gone out of the lines. Everything you do, whether you just click like, whether you send a comment, whether you share on your social media, or whatever you do, it all helps and it's all appreciated. And a lot of it I don't know happens. This is Espresso brown. I'm just going to put some shadow lines in. You'll just watch and see. Yeah, so thank you to everyone that's doing that sort of thing. It's really brilliant and I really appreciate it. And as I say, the aim of the channel has always been to encourage more people to colour so that they can enjoy the relaxation that we all feel when we colour. But, you know, money that I make just helps me sort of, you know, have a few treats, spoil the family, and buy things to help the channel. So it's brilliant. And so you're all so lovely. And I get absolutely overwhelmed actually by the amount of love and comments and likes and subscriptions and members and everything else. It's just amazing. I know that it's an effort to do that, and I appreciate it. And I get a bit emotional if I think about it too much, that people are so lovely. Because I have to say, at one point, fairly recently, I got a bit I was the way of thinking that maybe people weren't very kind, but now I've started this channel, I realise they really are. I'm just putting a little bit of darker colour on this stem. I'm going to outline it with this darker colour as well. There we go. I think I just met one set of people who, I don't know, upset me a little bit by their attitude towards something, but I realise now that that isn't what most people are like, and I need to just forget about those people and just realise that most people are absolutely lovely. Right, we are done with our things. I don't know what I'm going to call this video because I don't know what they are. I don't know. I shall have to make up something. Maybe I should call it thingy things or something. But anyway, I had fun, and I'm sorry I had a bit of a rant and a bit of an emotional chat. But anyway, thank you all for watching and for everything else that you do, and hoping you have a really lovely day and happy colouring.